remember when like Rihanna performed in the halftime show?
She
The
was pregnant.
joke was like she was pregnant, but the joke was like, "Oh, I'm so excited to see Brianna perform," you know? And I feel like the energy of watching the games yesterday, I just didn't feel excited. I don't know if it's because the Seahawks are not in it or if, like you just said, there's not a ton of media attention. I mean, there is, but there's also so much going on in the NFL as well as these games. It's kind of distracting, right? With all
Yeah,
the
there's
coaching
a lot
changes.
going on. Uh,
Yeah,
I
there
mean,
is.
I've seen more. Maybe it's just the algorithm in my phone, but I see more on Pete Carroll being the new
Mm,
coach for the Raiders right now than I am seeing like post NFC AFC championship. I mean,
right,
I wanted the Redskins to win, but we both said last week I was like they're the underdogs. So I'm going to be pulling for them. I think they could.
right, right.
Damn, that didn't go so well. And then
Yeah.
that Eagles game was actually, I think
Mm,
Josh Allen did his pretty much everything he could do to set his team
yeah.
up, but freak. Once again, it's the same song, same dance, freaking Patty Mahomes, Andy Reid doing it again. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and I
that's what I'm
think
saying.
that's
Talk about
why
stupidity. Yeah.
we're all kind of like meh about it. I feel like too if it was the underdogs that won, if the Commanders and the
Yeah.
Bills were in the Super Bowl, I feel like the energy would be a little
They'd
bit
be buzzing
different.
a lot more for sure. Yeah.
But since it's the
It's
same thing from 2 years ago, it's kinda like, "All right, well, is this gonna be a Patty Mahomes three-peat, or what are we gonna see out here? Or is Saquon gonna get his first Super Bowl, which will be kind of exciting too?" But
ooh.
yeah,
Early
I
prediction right
mean
now. Who do you think? We'll start the show off. Who do you think's gonna win this one?
yeah, prediction, Super Bowl. I'm trying to go for the underdogs, but it's not working this season. So I'll just say it. I think, the Eagles are gonna win. That's my underdog prediction, but am I really confident about that choice? No, of course not. I just would rather not have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Great. You're great, Patty. You're great. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think I think the Chiefs. It'd be stupid to bet against the Chiefs. It's like betting against Tom
Right.
Brady when he was with the Patriots. It's like
Right.
when they go, they're gonna win it. That's I mean, you just expect that. Now, I
Mhm.
am there's so many like Cinderella stories right now with like Saquon being traded against his will to the Eagles, and
Right.
just every single way he can make it, rub it in the GM's face for New York Giants. Let me rush for over 2,000 yards. Let me almost break the record. Let me get my new team, who's a divisional
Mhm.
rival, to to the Super Bowl. Put the team
Right.
on my back. Like I love that type of story, that type of setup, and I'm pulling for Saquon. I'm also a huge fan of Jalen Hurts.
Right.
I just love. I mean, not only is he a phenomenal athlete, but I just love a class act dude too. He doesn't
Mhm.
ever really seem, phased. Even when he's having terrible moments where the game is clearly, if they're at a deficit or they ended up losing the game, I it's it was because of him and his play, but he just stays so classy about it. There's times where I see Patrick Mahomes as
Right.
amazing as he is. I've seen him slam his helmets. I saw yelling the f bombs like crazy on the sidelines. Yeah, I mean, I want it for Jalen Hurts too, man. So,
Yeah.
and I'm an AJ Brown fan too. Oh, and
Right.
last Cinderella story. Sorry, Jordan Mailata. He's the left tackle,
Yes.
starting left tackle. Dude never played a snap of football in his life. He was a rugby player
Oh,
in Australia. Played some pro rugby out there, and the NFL scouts, they just have such good talent where they can go to other countries and just see potential. His natural athletic ability. I mean, he's 6'7", 290 at the time, 280, running, outrunning some of the guys on the rugby field. And then they said, "Hey, we're going to put some pads on you, work on some lateral movement, some kick steps,
right.
see if your IQ can, kick in and learn the game of football, which is a very complex game." And the
Right.
dude is killing it. He's killing it, man. So I want him to win one too.
Oh, that is amazing. I love that. But yeah, I just picture that big boy just
Yeah.
running. so fast.
Yeah, that huge run that Saquon had in the game. It was like what 60 plus yards. It was sprung by Jordan Mailata's lead blocking on the left side of that
Mhm,
line. And I was
mhm,
like, look
mhm.
at that big boy move, man. He's moving.
Right,
I mean,
right.
he's probably he could legitimately go out and play some tight end. Anyways, cheering for
Well,
I'm cheering for
yeah.
the Eagles.
I am too because, I mean, like you said, like, Jalen Hurts and his attitude and even Saquon, like, when they put Shipley in and Saquon was the first person to run out there when he scored his first career touchdown, and so that was really cool to see too, like and towards the end of the season, right, the coach asked him if he wanted to go in to get his record. He was like, "No,
Yeah.
I don't no, it's okay." So it's like he's a very selfless he's a
Yeah.
very good team player,
Selfless.
you know?
Exactly. It's not about
Right,
him. And
right.
that sucks because part of them wanted to go after that record. And even
Right.
though it was a 17 game season versus a 16 game, he's like,
Mhm.
it's all good.
Yeah,
I'm all about the team. So yeah, love it.
right.
Love the attitude. Cheering for the Eagles, but Andy Reid is my second favorite coach of all time in the NFL. So I don't
He's
get mad when
wild.
I see him win. You know.
Right. I mean, and, like, we were talking about this, like, it's kind of hard to get mad at Patrick Mahomes now because he's just so good, like, you can't get mad at him, kinda like how people were LeBron James haters, and some of them are probably like, "I like the guy." Like, it's hard to be
Yeah.
mad at them, right? But I wanna talk about Jaden Daniels for 2 seconds.
Mhm.
He is so impressive. Watching him in this game, how poised he was in the pocket, how calm he was throughout the entire game. He looked like
Mhm.
a 10-year vet out there, and it was so cool to watch, and I'm really excited to see him and how his career is gonna unfold in the NFL, and, I mean, if that's year 1, like,
Yeah.
damn,
And we talked about
damn.
that too, about
Mhm.
what's special about him is his uncanny ability to remain calm and
Oh,
keep his composure, even
right.
in high stakes situations.
Mhm, mhm.
The kid's never out of it, and you never have to worry about. And this just proves it. I mean, he's in the dance right now, postseason, and he's just playing like a veteran. So that is a
Right.
huge upside in your quarterback to look forward to for years to come. That's somebody they're going to continue to build the franchise around, and I'm happy for the Commanders and their
Yeah,
situation that they have right now. That's super dope, and he just seems to be like a cool human being too. When you listen to his
right.
interviews, he's pretty dope. So
Yeah, good, good. So, I mean, congrats, Jaden, that's amazing. Great season, Dan Quinn, everybody for
yeah,
the Commanders. Yeah,
I
I
think.
mean
What do you think? So Andy Reid, he was the coach for the Philadelphia Eagles a long time ago,
right.
in the early 2000s when they had Donovan McNabb, T.O. running. And now he's playing against his hometown once again in the Super Bowl. It makes me wonder, like if there's a world where, Pete Carroll turns the ship around and for the Las Vegas Raiders, like how far do I cheer for him if we're in the playoffs and we play against him? Like that'd be fun to watch. Seeing the
Oh
Seahawks
my
and
god.
Pete Carroll, that'd be
Speaking
super
of
fun.
right, speaking of Pete Carroll is now the new head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, there's like you said, we're getting way more news about Pete Carroll being the head coach than about the games that have been happening. Did you see the video of Marshawn Lynch at his press conference?
No, I didn't. I missed that. You were texting that on the thread. I missed that part.
He
What was he talking
literally just yelled Raiders, like, in the middle of Pete Carroll talking.
about? If there's one human being on this planet who can get away with that, it's freaking
Oh,
Marshawn, man.
100%. You're just like, of course. Like, I wouldn't expect that from anybody else. Anybody else, but, I
But I
mean,
think, like,
there's
if anybody yelled that in that type of scenario, if a random person just
oh,
yelled
yeah.
and came off as super obnoxious, everybody be, like, rolling their eyes. What the frick is this guy's problem? The fact that it's Marshawn, everybody loves it. They're just eating it up, man. I can
Oh,
guarantee you
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Anything that Marshawn does, anything that Marshawn says is funny. It's hilarious. He was literally in Hawaii one time just passing out turkeys outside of Target. Like, what?
gotta love him. Gotta love him,
Yeah,
man. He
it's
stays
hilarious.
loyal to the soil. I mean, not necessarily that Hawaii's his soil, but just that upbringing, talks
Right.
about living in Section 8 approved housing, and he just continues, no matter whether it's in Oakland or Hawaii, the man is always giving back to the
Yeah.
communities, especially the low income communities. So I love that. The man just stays real, man. It's the
Yeah.
hard trait to
That's
find these days.
oh, yeah, that's what I appreciate about him the most is that he's just himself. Any event that you go to in Seattle, whether it's like a nice formal event, bro shows up in a hoodie and sweats. He don't care. He is himself. He is 100% himself, and you can't hate him for that. You actually love him so much for just being him.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, so Peter is with the Raiders. I honestly didn't think he was going to come back to coach, but here he is, head coach of the Raiders. I mean, word on the streets. Do you
How
think
do you
he'll
feel about
try
that?
different?
How do you feel about Pete Carroll becoming a coach again in the NFL and also going to a program like the Raiders, who they've known to just be the freaking doormat of the NFL for
Right,
generations? And it's talking about not so much the coaching and players, more so like the organization itself seems to just have a
right.
stigma, a gray cloud hovering over the Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders. There's just been that negative connotation with the Raiders for generations. So how do you feel about Pete Carroll going over there?
I mean, he knows how to build solid organizations. He knows how to build and create, Super Bowl winning teams. So maybe that's what they need. But I mean, I thought he should just retire and, enjoy his life with his grandkids
Oh
and
my
his
God.
wife.
My wife said the same thing. She's like, "You
He's
should just retire already." I
old.
don't I don't know. She's like, "I think I'm getting mad at him. He needs to just retire and spend time with his wife. She's been with him all these years and going through the thick and thin, and now he retires. She's probably happy, and now he's just kidding. I'm going back to work."
I
So we were
mean
talking about that.
like, I've witnessed my dad retire and then, like, take a few years off and then go back to consulting and then pretty much retire again. So, I mean,
Mhm.
I get it. It happens. Like, I think if you're so used to being busy and you're so used to just doing stuff and that type of, job, like, you're constantly busy, and then you go from constantly busy to I don't know what he was doing, but, it's like it's a change and it's different and it's hard for a lot of people. So, I mean, I get that, like, people go back all the time to work, but,
Yeah, I imagine
I
that
mean,
it'd be something.
I didn't think he was gonna be, like, a head coach, though. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more, like, maybe behind the scenes kind of
Yeah,
a thing, maybe in the
I
back
was hoping that's
office
what
or
it was
front
going to be with
office.
Seattle. Yeah, but I actually think that the thing about Pete is, um, a lot of players that make it to the collegiate level, pro level,
Mhm.
coaches too. You'll hear them say, "She's." Even when I decided to hang up the cleats, man, it was like it got to a point where I don't think I loved playing football so much anymore. Like I love
Mm,
football. Don't get me wrong, but after playing
right,
football from 12 years old all the way till you're 23, 24 years old,
right,
or longer, at some point it's like, dang, it's just the monotony of it anymore. Is it even fun anymore? And some people
right.
that time comes sooner than others. Peyton Manning says, "I'm going to keep playing football until the day that I don't feel butterflies in my stomach when I'm putting my shoulder pads on and tying up my cleats and putting my helmet on." He's like, "I'll keep playing um, until I don't feel those butterflies anymore." And I feel like that's Pete Carroll, man. If he has that itch, man, I'm all for it. Like, write it off as long as you can, and then when you feel like it's time, you'll know it's time. So
Right, right. I mean,
um,
yeah, I'm happy for him.
no, me too. And I actually think, like, I like it. I like the move. Period.
Mhm.
Because I think Pete Carroll's problem in Seattle is just kind of that culture. As crazy as this sounds, is like, I think people that have been around the program so long, not just players but also the staff, it's hard to kind of keep that, that
Momentum.
energy, the momentum, the like
Right,
hoorah, the coaches,
right.
players
It's
coach.
exhausting.
Yeah, it is. And
Yeah,
sometimes you find yourself trying to fake it till you make it, like, my face is showing that I'm really pumped, but I'm just like, I'm really just going through the motions right
right.
now. So I think that it was good timing for Seattle and Pete to part ways, but I think it's perfect timing with the situation the Raiders are in right now. They're in Las Vegas. They're new to Las Vegas for a couple of years.
Mhm.
Antonio Pierce stepped in as their head coach, as an interim coach last year.
Right.
Did a great job with what the cards he was dealt, but it just needs, it's not so much just coaching and players like we talked about. It's someone who just come in there, completely shift the culture of it, and
Right.
the way
Right.
Pete did in Seattle, I think. So I think if
Right.
anybody on the planet can do that with the Raiders, he'd be one of the top guys in my opinion. So
100%. How about Gino's little, ooh, excuse me, cryptic message? Remember we sent that in the group
I
chat?
know, I know. I,
His what you call it? Description underneath the picture. He's just throwing the ball by himself. It says, "How long should I stay dedicated? Dot dot dot. How long till opportunity meets preparation?" The next photo is a picture of him and Pete. I
First of all,
mean,
hashtag rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. Those are
right.
Nipsey's first opening lines to the song dedication. As soon as you sent that text, I was like, "Ooh, he out here quoting Nipsey." But yeah, that was interesting, man. I don't know, because that was following right after he. I saw an article saying that he's approached Seattle about redoing his contract. So
Mm,
did they not come to terms? Are they showing any interest in renewing his contract or meeting his needs? And if not, is he trying to show little hints, little foreshadowing here and there about like what's to come? I don't know, man.
mm.
I want to keep Gino. God damn it, I want him to stay. That's
I
the
know
thing.
you do. I know you do. And because we talked about like who would we bring in? There's nobody to bring in. There's nobody in this draft class that is anywhere near anybody from last year's draft class that we would even like try to get. I mean,
Do you trade up and go for one of those top? Go for Shador, maybe.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were
Uh,
gonna say that. I mean,
somebody posted a picture. I sent it to the group chat of Seattle, the staff after the Shrine Games. That's your senior games.
mhm, mhm.
Seattle had allegedly met with Shador Sanders and stuff like
Yep.
that. I mean, granted, he's going to meet with a lot of NFL teams, but that's cool if Seattle went out of their way to meet with him. So who knows, man?
But my thing is too, like, if we did get him like magically, who don't you think we would need like a quarterback to kind of coach him a little bit so he can be underneath for a little bit and then
Hmm. Yeah,
so
I
then who
agree a
would that
thousand
be?
percent. That's why I was like, I don't I don't want to see Geno leave just because if we did bring a young quarterback in, what better veteran who's been there, who's been
Right,
behind other
right.
Hall of Fame quarterbacks his entire career and
100%.
has been, shattering many of Seattle's and a few NFL records as far as passing goes, like being your
Mhm.
mentor. That's a pretty gnarly situation that any
Right.
rookie or young quarterback could walk into. So I don't know, man. But I will say this: if he doesn't want to be here, then I'm gonna be the first one to say, check up the deuces. We
Right,
want
right.
players that want to be here, obviously, and I know he does want to be here, but I think he's made a good case for himself to get paid, and if they don't want to, for whatever reason, pay him, I don't blame him for wanting to go somewhere else, especially if Pete's back on the market. So.
Pete's back on the market. Seahawks got a new OC. Welcome Klint Kubiak to the look at your face. I know. I know. When you texted that to us, I told Connor. Connor's like, from the Saints? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh,
First of
oh.
all, I love how there's all these coaches in the league right now whose dads were coaches. I mean,
Right.
you got
Crazy.
Schottenheimer, you got Shanahan,
Right.
you got Kubiak, like good old Gary Kubiak, his son doing big things now, making big moves. But
Right.
yeah, man, I'm super pumped about that. I mean, put it this way: if you have a coach that can, gr- good lord, they were injury plagued
Mhm.
just about more than any other team in the NFL this year.
Right.
But I mean, even when he was in Minnesota, uh,
Mhm.
amazing offense over there. Huge
Mhm.
fan of, even though he didn't have like the greatest quarterbacks, under center in his time in Minnesota, but you could see potential in his play calling. Very balanced. Very. I love how I feel like it was a really good balance between run pass is what I mean by balanced. Um,
And we need
and
that. That's what we were
yeah,
missing.
absolutely. And then in New Orleans, the way I see it is anybody who can take a guy like Taysom Hill,
Mm.
who was a quarterback at BYU, but just your Swiss Army knife type of player. I mean, you plug him in at tight end, you plug him in at quarterback, you plug him at fullback, tailback, kick return, punt return. The dude's just one of them guys who could do it all. And he has
Mhm.
thighs the size of tree trunks. Like, those are the guys that just, sorry, side note. Oh my God. As a defensive player, I didn't care how big somebody's arms were, how many
No,
veins they had popping. I was like, that stuff did not phase me at all. If I seen a dude with tree trunk legs, I'm like, oh shit, dude, this guy.
like
Look
Saquon's.
at, look at those legs. This might sound even more fishy, but I guarantee you, every football player will say this too. If you have a running back with a big old ass too,
Oh, yeah,
oh shit,
100%.
man, he got like it is seriously like, look at that dude's ass. That guy gonna run us. He gonna run. He gonna run all over us. Look at those legs. Look at that. It's funny. You can tell a lot of a man with the ball in his hands by how his lower. Look at Saquon. Holy shit! Does
Yes,
anybody
look at
dare try to go lower
Saquon.
to him?
Every
Jalen Hurts.
every interview that Saquon goes on, they're like, "I'm really sorry, but god damn, your thighs are so big."
Huge. Even Jalen Hurts, you could see his calves
Yeah.
from the nosebleeds, man. I was like, sorry. Anyway, sidetrack. Taysom Hill is one of those guys where uh, he's not a running back, but he can play the running back position in certain
Right.
scenarios and hold it down too. And
Crazy.
the fact that Kubiak can find a way to use him and get him the ball. There's just special players you have to find ways to get the balls in their hand. Like if he can do that with someone like Taysom Hill, I can't wait to see what he would do
Right.
for guys like K9, guys like
Yeah.
Zach Walker and Kenny McIntosh. Then you go to the receivers. Let's drop a play for Jackson or for
Jason.
DK, so or even our tight ends. Good Lord, we got so much skill and depth at
Right.
tight end. I think people forget like Noah Fant is a top shelf tight end, like specimen. It's just an interesting program he's in with us where he doesn't get
Mhm.
that time to shine. But my man was an early draft pick, man. He's a
Right.
freak of nature. So I can't wait to see what he does and how creative he gets to get his stars the ball. So
I'm excited too, and, when we get new OCs like this, what is, like, their say on, for example, like, Gino? Like, how much input is valued from them when they come into a brand new team, but it's like, in between contracts for players like this that he will be working with? How much input
I think
is
he has I think in his first year he's gonna be I would imagine that he's gonna come in, give me the pieces that I'm dealt, the cards that I'm dealt, and
Mhm.
I'll do my best I can with them.
Okay.
But as time goes on, there's a certain
Right.
mold, the certain type of player I'm looking for this specific offense, and maybe Gino ain't it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Gino. It's hard for me to imagine an offense that Gino can't play in, just for the mere fact that he can be a pocket quarterback. Like he is a pocket quarterback, actually, but he can
Mhm.
also be a guy that you draw an offense up around to make plays around his feet too. He has the type of
Mhm.
speed, like a Jaden Daniels or a Jordan Love. Like they
Right.
design quarterback plays where they run and use their feet and then throw the ball outside of the pocket. So I think Gino is a great situation that he's walking into. Not to mention the guy's a freaking Pro Bowler, man. I'm like, you got a legit Pro Bowl quarterback who has
Right.
a very good accuracy. He doesn't have the best deep ball, but he's really, really accurate
Mhm.
for the
Mhm.
most part. And yeah, um, I think that I'll be more. I think I'm encouraged to think that McDonald will probably be more along the lines of okay, I let Grubb do his thing,
Mm.
and we saw how that turned out. I have my philosophy that I want to run, and this is what it is, and we'll do our best to form my philosophy with your offensive scheming, and make it work like that. But at the end of the day, it's McDonald's team, so fall in line. That's all I'm hoping and looking forward to seeing.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. It's kind of crazy how quickly things are moving, right? Because our season ended like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why we're kind of distracted with all the buzz of what's going around around the league, and even the Niners, their new defensive coordinator, Robert
Yeah.
Saleh.
Robert
He's back.
Saleh.
He is back, and I am scared.
I love it. I freaking love it.
I do too. We have to remember that he was with the Seahawks 2011, 2013.
Then went over to Harbaugh. Yep.
Yeah.
Joined forces with Harbaugh, and the rest is history for him. But you know what?
Yeah.
Sometimes guys just ain't meant to be a head coach too,
Yeah, and that's okay.
That's all right. Yeah. He'll make millions, top defensive coordinator, So
I mean, it probably doesn't help that he was where he was at, but we won't talk about that.
Did I see this correctly that Gus Bradley, or not Gus Bradley? Oh, what's his name? Our old offensive coordinator. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Is just joined with Pete Carroll down in, is it Gus Bradley? Yeah, I think it's Gus Bradley's down there in Oakland with him. Our old, defensive coordinator. Sorry.
Oh, defensive.
We had Gus Bradley, we had Dan Quinn, but anyways, I was like, let me find out. Pete's trying to, get the band back together.
I mean, I feel like there are rumors that I don't know, maybe Pete could be starting to look for his new squad, aka old squad, to bring to the Raiders. So I guess we'll find out more when he starts to develop his team. But I mean,
does Russell stay a Steeler, or do they make a move on Russell? No, I've seen some people talking about that. I'm like, no way. They parted
that
on.
would be insane. Could you imagine?
I can't.
He goes down. Russell goes. Gino's his backup again. I'm just kidding.
Freaking case Not of funny. The X's right here. Good Not Lord. Funny. Yeah.
Okay, Maya.
I know. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know, but the Niners, that was a good call. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody about this, and I was like, who would be good? And they brought up their name, and I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah. And there he is.
You know what, though? It'll be good to see them make a run again. I love when the NFC West was known to have the toughest division in the league. I think it's headed back in that direction very quickly with the Rams where they are, and they are the Seahawks, and now getting Saleh back. And that was really their defense, in my opinion, was just their injury plagued this season. The Niners were, but their defense just didn't look like that stout defense we're used to seeing the last few years. So I think Saleh will definitely get that right back. And he has that thing going on where I get fired up looking at him. The dude's so intense, and he has the vein popping out of his head. I'm like, God, ooh, look, he's
yeah. No, that's what I was thinking about too. It was like you can just tell he was that vocal coach that brought the energy, and the guys on the team and the defense especially, they feed off of that, especially the Niners, right? And they didn't have that on the sideline this year, I don't think at all. So I think that's one of the pieces I was missing. I mean, granted, they had a ton of injuries, but yeah, they're scary. I mean, I always told KJ, I'm scared of your team. I'm scared of you guys.
Can never sleep on them. They're top to bottom weapons on both sides of the ball. So
right.
But you know what, though? I feel fully confident in our team this year, Seattle. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a homer, but if you can look at the game through the lens of any person who's been around football, been in the game, it's scary to see the direction that Seattle is going to be going with the player personnel, the coaching personnel. Right. Oh, shit, dude. I'm super pumped, man.
Yeah, and I'm excited. And like you said, I just want our division to be back where it used to be. You know what I mean? And I think We're
I think
on the
just
right direction.
this is probably the most talented roster I remember Seattle having in the last few years, minus the O-line. They just have
Mhm.
star talent on all sides of the ball, minus the
Right.
O-line. So,
Right.
yeah. Anyways,
Yay! All
dang,
right.
only half more year to go.
Only half more year to go. We have Pro Bowl next week, which is okay, and then Super Bowl. So pretty much only 2 more weeks left in the NFL season, which is
Mhm.
crazy. Which is crazy. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about the halftime show, Kendrick and SZA, but I know everybody's excited, but I'm like,
Is
Super
he
Bowl halftime.
is he
Is it gonna
gonna is he gonna play They Not Like Us?
Is he allowed to?
What? Why wouldn't he
Just
be?
kidding. Wait, what? I was like, Drake's gotta be pissed right now.
Oh my god.
Drake's probably gonna try to find another, like, way to sue him, so
Yeah, I don't know. Drake's pissed is the word. Yes, he's pissed. Probably, I think he's more scared than anything. He's like praying, God, I promise never to do anything shady again. If you just let Kendrick not sing, They Not Like Us no more.
I know, right?
Especially at the Super Bowl. So
All
that's
over.
funny.
It is all over. All right, so our Super Bowl predictions is we both want the Eagles to win, even though Eagles fans
G. Scott had a great post that made sense.
What?
He said, for everyone in the AFC, now you know what it's like for guys like Reggie. You had guys like Charles Barkley. You guys had uh, Patrick Ewing. How they can never win a ring? It's because they could
Oh.
never get past MJ. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm,
none of them, none of Reggie
mhm.
Miller couldn't. You had all these
Right,
stars, like Hall of Fame players, who had never had a chance at the championship to get a ring because they just couldn't get around MJ, the GOAT. And that's what I see with the AFC is like G. Scott put it perfectly, man. It's like while Andy Reid and Patty are on the same freaking
right.
sideline, it's gonna be slim to none chances of getting past them. So
Yeah. We can only hope. We can
yeah,
only hope.
cheering for the Eagles though,
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh. Me too. I never thought I'd say that, but I am. I
All right.
am. Alright, well, exciting news for the Seahawks, exciting news all around. It's definitely a lot to look forward, and, hopefully we'll come back with more news.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll figure out who our quarterback's gonna be soon.
Yeah. Until anything crazy happens, I can't see a world without Gino.
Right.
Yeah. We have a young team who's very cheap, and so there's not anybody that's a high demand for what we're going to pay
Mhm.
them. Not like we were with the Legion of Boom era, where every single person was a payday.
Right,
So I
right.
think that there's some wiggle room on the money side of it for Gino. But damn, I'm super pumped about Kubiak, man. I hope this turns out how I'm hoping it'll turn out. Because you saw them how they were killing it in the beginning of the season.
Right,
The
right.
Saints was like, fuck, this offense is like throwing up 35, 40 points. It's like,
And you're like, "What?"
yeah. And then everybody just started dropping like flies,
Mhm.
man. It was crazy. So
Right.
we'll see what happens.
I'm excited.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to shout us out, subscribe, like, share with your friends, share with your grandma, share with everybody.
Share with everybody. Sharing is caring. Appreciate y'all.
Share in your group chat. We'll catch y'all later.
All
Bye.
right.